Recording fine. Yeah.
Great.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Healthy Mind, Healthy Life, the podcast where we dive deep into the stories, struggles, and successes that shape our journey to living a balanced and fulfilling life. I'm your host Avik, and today's episode is a special one for all of you, all of the dreamers, doers, and business builders out there. So, starting and growing business isn't just a career choice, it's a roller coaster of emotions, sleepless nights, and relentless hustle. So, today I'm joined by someone who has truly lived it all. He is a trailblazer in the SaaS world, a visionary in AI, and someone who's reimagining the way we work, think, and live. So, our guest today is Matthew White. Welcome to the show, Matthew.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Lovely, lovely. So, Matthew, like before we start, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all of our listeners. Dear listeners, Matthew is the founder and CEO of Keyboard and uh, Platypus OS,
Yes.
a company who is working on creating an AI assistant that sounds straight out of sci-fi dream. So think like yes, so think like Jarvis for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So uh, over the past 15 years, he has built successful companies, witnessed nine-figure exits, and dedicated his life to simplifying the lives of business owners. I mean, who doesn't need an extra pair of hands, or in this case, AI to take the load off? Yep.
Yeah.
So whether you are whether you are budding entrepreneur, a tech enthusiast, or someone simply navigating the chaos of life, then this episode is for you. So why to wait? Let's get into it. Welcome to the show again, Matthew.
I appreciate it. This is great.
Lovely, lovely. So Matthew, I did love to get into, I mean, get things off with your entrepreneurial journey. Uh,
Sure.
like, what inspired you to start Keyboard over a decade ago?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I've always been kind of like an entrepreneur at heart. I've been with a number of companies that have been really great. Larger enterprise, smaller startups. I've had great kind of opportunities in all of those, but I've always found just myself, I've always wanted to just kind of trail my own, path or do something my own that I can kind of have more control around. I've had bosses in the past that have been like, you're really good at your job, but you're kind of difficult to manage.
Mhm.
And I think that all comes from just my ideas of like, let's grow bigger, let's do something better, let's push the boundaries. And I've worked in places that didn't really have that on top of mind, and I've always had to struggle with that. So I've always kind of wanted to strive out and do something and build something of my own. I've actually had a couple. So I way back in the day, I started a social media platform called Heckle Sports that was like a social media platform for sports fans to come and connect and video share and all that kind of stuff. That one wasn't successful. And I went back into the corporate world after that. But then when we started Keybot, so this was probably 2012, 13, somewhere in there. And I was working at a couple different places. One of the mostly in like mobile advertising, but I realized kind of as I was managing a lot of the SaaS tools within our organization, it was all dispersed. It was, it didn't communicate very well. Zapier, I think, was just coming out, and it just wasn't a great ecosystem. So I was like, we can build something better here. And so we started, my co-founder and I, who I've been with for 15 years, we started building this just integrated, centralized platform of tools, and it started to catch on. People seem to really love it. And we've grown pretty well. We, a lot of it through partnerships. We do a lot of white labeling with marketing agencies, Better Business
Mhm.
Bureau, those types of things. And yeah, that's kind of the journey that took us into this. Is really just kind of you get to find a problem or a niche that you can work on, and then just start exploiting it. And that's kind of how we built to where we are. And now we're building a whole AI system. So
Mm, exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, also on this, looking back now, like, would you say that initial vision has evolved significantly? Like, or do you feel like you have stayed true to the core problem that you set out to solve?
Yeah, it's a great question. We definitely have pivoted a number of times through the creation and the invention of what we've built. When we first started our thought process, a good example of this, our first thought process was we're going to build a centralized platform where we're going to have all these different applications, a website builder, email marketing, social media, et cetera, and we're going to build those tools out. That quickly came to, quickly came to realize that is a huge undertaking. That there's a reason all these companies are building their own SaaS tools and selling those on a market. So we pivoted from there, from kind of starting to build our own tools to partnering with other technologies and almost creating like a more integrated marketplace. So we have a marketplace where you can buy the tools, but also in that marketplace, the tools are integrated into a single platform, single sign-on. All the tools are a la carte, so it is kind of a marketplace setup. And then we integrate the tools in the background so they can talk and be used side by side. They can talk to each other. And I think that was a big pivoting point for us to start to really scale the business up and make something different out of what we were kind of thinking. So we definitely had some pivots. And then now, again, my co-founder and I, we've brought some people in to kind of manage Keybot as we've moved over to the Platypus OS side, which is our AI platform, because we see a whole new opportunity there, kind of based on the success we saw with centralization and simplification of SaaS tools in the Keybot side. So yeah, a lot of changes. I think if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be ready for changes, right? You have to realize that your idea may not be fleshed out as you go find market fit. So that's important.
Very true, very true. I totally agree. Yeah. And like so like fast forward to today, I mean,
Yeah.
you are working on something truly groundbreaking with Platypus OS.
Yes.
Um, so what motivated you to pivot into the AI space? I mean, I know like AI is everything right now,
Yeah.
but then specifically, why into this space, and why do you think like now is the perfect time for this technology to thrive?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we kind of fell into it a little bit. My co-founder and I, again, what we started was we saw just how easy it was for people to use our Keybot platform to manage all the tools they had. So we were like, let's build a more fleshed out version of this, which is actually a browser. So we actually took the idea of simplifying the tools and the resources and how you use your applications and build a browser that kind of gets rid of tabs, centralizes the tools you use, like thousands of tools now, into a more kind of organized uh, user interface that keeps apps open for a longer amount of time. It's just a lot of functionality that comes with kind of recreating the browser. When we started doing that, though, we also AI was starting to really build up pretty big. We got a lot of people starting to use our new browser, and then we started playing with AI in it, and that is when we started to realize, okay, this is smart enough now. The speed at which AI can code and script allows us to be able to have it on the fly operate anything on any user interface within any application. So in our system, the way we're setting it up now, you could literally be like, say you're using Salesforce, you can say Platypus AI, update John Doe's phone number to blah blah blah, and then let me know that it's accomplished, and then give them a call. And our AI can go in the back end. It ingests the HTML, sees what's available, and moves you through the process. And it's really pretty groundbreaking and allowing the AI to be able to work on your behalf, kind of as an assistant in helping with everything you might need on any of your applications. So that's kind of how we fell into this, and it's yeah, we're in beta with the AI right now. People are using the OS. We're in beta with the AI, and we're seeing some really exciting transformations in kind of how you can interact with applications through what we're doing. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Exactly. Perfect, perfect, lovely. And like scaling a company while working on something as a cutting edge as AI
Mm-hmm.
must come with its own unique challenges, I believe. So,
Sure.
what's been the hardest part of bringing Platypus OS to life? I mean, how do you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, I think the nice thing about doing Platypus OS is we did learn a lot at Keybot, right? So we were able to take a lot of the
Yeah.
learnings and the challenges and the struggles that we ran into at the beginning of that into the new company and say, okay, we don't need to make so many mistakes off the front end. I mean, the lifestyle of an entrepreneur is hard. It's not going to be the the way it's portrayed on TV, where everything's exciting, everything's moving fast all the time, everything is,
Mhm.
either crazy or wild. There's going to be a lot of times where you're in the middle of it. There's, I'll admit there's like times of dealing with depression as you start to build something and you don't see it gain the traction you wanted to at first, or having to pivot and rebuild an entire system. You're like, this is not what I was expecting. There's a lot of strife that comes with that. You got to figure out ways to handle that, ways to take yourself out of the company, out of the business from time to time, so that you can work on your own mental health as you
Yeah.
work on building something. And I think the
Mhm.
big thing too for me was also, as we grew, we hired more people, and then the responsibility of keeping those people employed and keeping those people, busy and successful falls on, myself and my co-founder, the people at the top, where you're like, okay, this is all on our shoulders. There's people now counting on us to pay their mortgages, to
Mhm.
eat, and that's a lot of struggle. And you got to find ways to wrap your mind around other things, and find healthy outlets. I think that was one of the biggest struggles I came across, was being able to detach, uh, and know that the company is doing okay, but I can detach for 2 days and recenter myself, and then come back fresh and be more productive and be a better team member at that point.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Perfect. And a lot of people worry that technology like AI might increase the steps or take away the human element from the work. So, what's your take on this? I mean, how do you see AI helping people reduce stress and find more time for what matters the most?
Yeah, I from what we're building, what we're seeing, I think the near future of what, again, especially what we're building, is going to take a lot of just the manual steps out of the day-to-day operations of a job or anything off of your plate a bit. So you're going to be able to automate a lot more. You're going to be able to kind of manage more of the creative side of business. I think one of the things that we're seeing with AI is it's really good at being productive. It's really good at creating basic content, but it still needs the feed. It still needs a structure, right? It can't come up with its own prompts. It can't come up with its own creative process. That still takes a human touch. And I think if more people can understand how to manage that prompting, we can work side by side with the systems pretty well. I think one of the things that I've been thinking about, especially with what we're building in Platypus OS, is as we get further and further along, I think there's going to be a large transition from the SaaS model, like SaaS applications, to a more centralized database with AI
Mhm.
kind of running all those SaaS models that you need. So you don't really need a CRM, an email marketing system, things like that in the form that we have them. I think we're maybe a few years away from that, but I think the AI is going to be able to do that. And I think we're an interesting place that creative people can start to find new opportunities. I think there's going to be a huge market around this, is helping build AI agents that are fine tuned to specific industries, specific niches, being able to say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I want my AI to pull from my MLS every single day all the new properties in this area, and I want it to match it with all my prospects based on these specific things. There's going to need fine tuning for that. You're going to have to get people that are going to build agents that you could then possibly plug and play into your AI application and do those things for you. And I think that's what we're doing at Platypus OS, is helping to create an ecosystem around that, where people can, developers can come in and they can build these AI agents that they'll be able to sell within our marketplace. But I think that's where the creativity will become, is us figuring out how to better prompt and tell AI what to do and how to do it. Because I don't think for a long time it's going to be able to take those
Mhm.
steps and manage that prompting period. So I think that's where we sit at the moment.
Exactly, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
And so like what excites you most about the future of Platypus OS and AI landscape in general? What should we be looking out for in the coming years?
Yeah, honestly, it's gonna be a mixed bag. There's gonna be a lot of interesting things that I think will help us be more productive. I think it's gonna help us be more, honestly, more creative, because one of the things that I don't think we're going to have to do quite as much is the daily tasks, right? The day-to-day little tasks you have to do that waste hours and hours of your time. are going to be automated and be able to take you out of that realm so we can be, as a society, more creative. We can think more about how we want to help other people, how we want whatever we're building to be more structured in, in a way that's going to be beneficial to our customers or to the people within our organization. I think that that's going to be a big boom for people that want to build things and create things, that they're going to be able to take some of just that daily operational stuff off of their plate, put it on somebody else, and really kind of focus on what they're passionate about, what they're excited about, or what is going to build better experiences for their customers, experiences for people within an organization. So I think that's exciting. I
Mm.
think there's also a mixed bag there too. I think we're already seeing this technology get to the point of being able to uh, develop at the level of a mid-tier engineer, right? So I think there's going to be a lot of interesting strife that will come around that in the near future, as it kind of does look like it will take positions. But I think
Mm.
there's interesting ways to transition into different organizations, different roles and
Mm.
different opportunities. Again, I think the agent opportunity is a big opportunity that somebody, there's going to be some companies that start to build these agents, and they're going to make a lot of money and they're going to employ a lot of people. And I think those are going to be really interesting opportunities.
Perfect, exactly. So,
Yeah.
Matthew, thank you so much for sharing your incredible
Yeah.
journey, insights, and vision with us. Yeah, I think like I speak for all of listeners when I saw your story, and this is the testament to resilience, innovation, and the power of thinking big while staying grounded. Yeah, definitely. And for everyone like who's tuning in, I hope today's episode has sparked a sense of curiosity and motivation. And if you are feeling stuck, remember that every big idea starts as a small step.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are struggling to find peace amidst the chaos, then know that tools like Platypus OS and the wisdom Matthew shared with us today can help lighten the load for sure. Yeah, and also, as always, do not forget to check out Matthew's work at Platypus OS and Keyboard. And I'll drop the links into the show notes for your reference. And as always, if you found this episode and enjoyed this episode much, then please share it with your friend, family, or someone who need it, and leave a review and hit that subscribe button. Let's keep building those healthy minds and healthy lives all together. So until next time, take care, stay inspired, and keep striving for the greatness. So, this is your host, Avik, signing off.